What's up, guys? It's your boy Josh Showtime. I'm back full effect. Man, make sure y'all like, subscribe, comment, and all that good stuff. Now look, I'm letting y'all know this right now. This is my last week here, all right? Because next week I'll be in Las Vegas, live out front, watching the Canelo Alvarez fight Jamel Charlo, and that's gonna be crazy. I'm super excited for that, man. I'm definitely going post the behind the scenes of what I'm doing, where I'm at. It's gonna be a good time. Cannot wait. Also, I told y'all I'm going to start dropping more content about fights and my reviews on the fights and the grades for controversial fights and crazy knockouts and stuff like that. That's coming soon, so make sure you stick around. Now, it's been a week and some change since I last dropped something, so a lot has happened. I'm gonna try to dive in as much as I can and speed through some of the stuff and get to the most important situations. This is gonna be UFC related. All right, so we're gonna talk UFC 293, crazy upset, and then we're gonna talk about UFC fight night that happened to be a championship fight as well. There was some really good fights that happened on that card, including the championship fight that's very controversial. I'm gonna talk about that. So it's gonna be a double dose for your fun, all right? So let's get right into it. Look, let's start off with UFC 293. I had another good, solid performance. All right, 4-2. I take it. Now, I really got the last two fights wrong, like badly wrong at that. So it's kind of crazy. But it is what it is, man. This is the beauty of MMA. I say this all the time. I don't care about being wrong. I'll be wrong every single time. I'm still going to be a fan of the sport because that's what makes it fun. It's so unpredictable. You do not know what's going to happen, how it's going to happen, when it's going to happen. And things that you say, this would never happen. It ends up happening somehow, especially if you're super confident in it. Like, okay, I don't know why. It just happens to me all the time. Now, we have a lot to talk about, so I'm not going to really dive in on the fights that don't matter necessarily right now. So I'll just quickly say Carlos looked good. I thought he looked pretty good. Good submission. I think that was his first one in the UFC. It's pretty good. We can talk about Tyson. It's KO punch. Solid performance. We can keep going. Now look, I will say, the Manuel Cape versus Felipe Dos Santos, that fight was crazy. That was a great fight. And I got so much stock out of Felipe. Like, bro, I'm going to be watching this dude throughout the UFC because he has a lot of potential. Very young, but gamer, bro. Very tough. He, man got a chin because he took a lot of shots and was able to continue to walk forward and keep the pace going. The right man did win the fight, but it was a close fight, contested fight. So I was thoroughly blown away, honestly, by Felipe, man. You gained a fan after that performance. This is what we need to see, bro. You ain't got a hyperlink on Wikipedia, all right? You about to have a decent career, man. Just continue to stay consistent and continue to get better. Don't just think that you're there now. Obviously, you lost, so you have more to work on. But man, what a start! Now let's get into the co-main. Tai Tuivasa, Alexander Volkov. That was a beating. That was a just demolition, one-sided beatdown. Tai Tuivasa could not get in the range. And here's the thing. I knew he would struggle because he's the shorter guy, obviously shorter reach. He's going to have a hard time closing the distance. I just figured he would eventually close the distance and crack him. Nope. Not even close. I think it's been pretty... I don't know. Is he peaking right now? Is he getting better? I don't know. He's been doing pretty well, man. And in striking, he looked good. Nothing. He shut down every single thing Tai Tuivasa wanted to do. He wouldn't let him box at all. And he was honestly boxing up Tai Tuivasa. It didn't matter where the fight was at. You knew who the better fighter was, and it wasn't relatively close. Tai Tuivasa's at a point now where his game is stagnant, man. He's going to have to go back into the drawing board and figure out what it is he really want to be. Does he really want to be a top 3, top 5 fighter and wants to challenge for a championship belt? Or does he just want to be a fun fighter and slug it out with people? Because if it's going to be the slaughterhouse version, then, bro, you're going to end up getting waxed. Now, if you want to get better, man, there's plenty of ways that you can step your game up. Now, you have phenomenal hand speed, but your defense isn't 100% there. You have to work on your footwork and getting in and out of range, especially if you're going to fight taller, lankier guys. It's a tough matchup because you're not really going to fight too many guys that has the build of Alexander. But still, man, there's no excuse for you to get outclassed the way you did. That was pretty bad. Now, the fight that I really need to talk about which is the main event. The fight that I was 1,000%. I was so wrong, honestly. I should have deducted myself 2 more points because I'd take the L, bro. I was wrong. Sean Strickland, I said if he's going to win, it's going to be by a fluke KO. It ain't going to be by no decision. Ain't no way he could outpoint Israel Adesanya. And I was completely wrong. This is one of the bigger upsets in the past few years. I'm not one of those guys that's going to be the hyperbole and say, oh, this is the biggest one ever. Come on, bro. Like, relax. Like, TJ Dillashaw and Renan Barão are still up there for me. You know, GSP, Matt Serra. Like, you got so many different fights that you can continue to bring up that were crazy big upsets that nobody gave that person a shot. But Sean Strickland, I gave no shot to, for real. He's a striker. He doesn't have much power. He doesn't really knock people out. And you're fighting against a technician who honestly outstrikes pretty much everybody. Yeah. No, that is not what happened. Israel got boxed up. And, you know, it's kind of funny to me because Sean Strickland's game kind of is similar to how he won, kind of similar to what Jake Paul is doing. He's exposing MMA fighters for terrible boxing. Now, I'm not saying Israel doesn't have good boxing. He has pro boxing matches. I think he's like 4 or 5-1 or whatever. He's like 5-1. I want to say 4-1. But yet and still, Jake Paul have shown that their boxing level is just not that good. Israel Adesanya's boxing, especially boxing going backwards, is just not that good. And he exploited it. Simple and plain. I've noticed that there's a trend, obviously, when people try to do the check hook and they try to get out of his range, they set themselves up for a 2. A 1-2 or just a regular 2. And this was a situation where Israel was pretty much winning the round and he got caught with a 2 because, once again, he tried to do the check hook, got timed right, and Sean Strickland loaded up, got him, and it was a wrap. And the fight was never the same again. Like, yes, he won the next round, but he lost every round after that. It kind of was like Sean Strickland took that round off. But it was a pretty dominant fight. And Israel was off his game. Now, we could say that we can blame he's been fighting really often. We could say that, you know, he overlooked him. And we could say that, like legit, we can come up with all these excuses, but we got to give Sean Strickland credit. He didn't switch up his game. He just revamped a little bit, changed it up a little bit, tweaked it a little bit. And we saw what happened. It was a phenomenal performance, and he outstruck who everybody tells us is one of the greatest strikers of all time. He didn't look like it that night, though. Sean Strickland deserves credit. And he also deserves credit that for a guy that has a pretty, to me, fundamentally basic game, he don't get hit a lot. He really don't. It's hard to hit this dude, which is why he's a lot of times boring fights. Because he doesn't allow himself to get punched. He doesn't get kicked. Like, yes, Alex Pereira did it. Yes, Kamaru Usman did it. But that's it. Nobody else really did it. So it's more so, you got to give him credit. You got to give him credit. Now, Izzy, he has to work on his boxing. He has to work on, as well as fighting backwards. Like, it was such calculated pressure. Izzy seemed stuck. He seemed like he knew what he was doing. And the one-off shots, just the basic leg kick, or just the jab, just trying to point his way, it didn't work at all. And he's going to have to, I don't want to say he needs to go for the finish, but he needs to be more aggressive with his attacks. Line himself up, man. You're going to have to make stuff a little bit more vulnerable, but you got to throw in combinations. I didn't see that, and I didn't like it when he tried to. It just didn't work. So power to Sean Strickland. I don't think that he should run that fight back. I think that fight was a one-sided show, and I believe Israel's like 2-3 or something like that in his last 5. He doesn't deserve a rematch. So let's just keep it a stack. DDP and Sean Strickland should be the next fight. Israel can fight again and fight the winner. Like, I don't care. There's a lot of up-and-coming 185-pound dogs that's up there. We also got to talk about the fact that Israel's like 34. But 33, 34, 35? He's in his mid-30s. He's peaked. I will say that at least. I don't think he's getting better. Alex Volkanovski's getting better. Israel Adesanya's not getting better. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, but if you want to hold the belt, yes, that is a bad thing. But I don't know if we're going to see any different version of what we've seen of Izzy. Sorry, that's just what I think. If they fought again, who would I favor? It's still going to be Israel Adesanya because he's more dynamic. But, I mean, I'm not confident about it anymore. I mean, bro, you almost got knocked out by Sean Strickland. That's not good. Let's keep it a beam. Now, let's talk about the UFC fight night, all right? Now, I'm not going to talk about all the fights because, once again, I don't want to wrap you guys up. Your attention span is too small. So let's just go ahead and just talk about the fights that really, really matter. Kevin Holland versus Jack DeMello. Now, listen, that fight was a very fun and active fight, but at the same time, Kevin Holland does not care. All right, bro? At the end of the day, man, if he presses the pace and he genuinely took this more serious than he was, he would be a much better fighter. And he's still a great fighter, but at the same time, you're not going to win no championship belt acting and fighting the way that you do. Like, you got to revamp your skills. I'm okay with him saying he lost. It was a close fight, but it is what it is. But now, the main event, saw the fight twice now. And Valentina Shevchenko versus Alexis Grasso. Great fight. Great women's fight. The crowd was into it. I was into it for sure. I thought the fight was pretty easy to score until it got to that fourth. First round, obviously, I thought it was pretty clear that Valentina won that round. Second round, I mean, Valentina got dropped. So, I mean, you lost based off damage. Third round, I thought it was obvious Valentina won that as well. She took her down, and she was able to wear on her. It was a pretty boring round, but she definitely won that round. Fifth round, it was pretty easy. Grasso beat the brakes off her the last minute and a half. Shouldn't have been a 10-8 round. That was terrible. Don't know why they ever did that. But yet and still, easy Grasso. The fourth round, though, personally, for me, I gave that round to Shevchenko. Now, I'm not mad at anybody for giving that round to Alexis Grasso. That round was close. Way too close for comfort. You shouldn't be confident that anybody won that round because it was very, very close. Now, that is why I'm not mad at Alexis winning that fight. If she won the fight, cool. I don't like the scorecard because they gave her a 10-8 round. That was very disrespectful. No, I'm sorry. Valentina was winning every bit of that round until she went for that terrible, and I do mean terrible, headlock. You deserve to get lost. She deserved to lose just for throwing that at the fifth round. Disrespectful. Like, come on, bro. You ain't take her down with that before. Why you doing it with that now? That's amateur. It's super amateur, bro. I'm a wrestler. I don't like that. I hate headlocks. It's either for desperation or somebody's literally throwing themselves to you and you have to do it. But trash. She deserved to lose off that. But in a real talk, though, it was very competitive. I'm not happy that they're running it back, that Dana White said they're going to do a rematch. I understand it, but at the same time, bro, I'm tired of all these rematches, bro. We had a quadrilogy. We're going to have another quadrilogy? What happened if Valentina wins this fight? Then we're going to just do a fourth one, or we're going to move on? Because I think that's also trash to Grasso. I'm not happy about that, personally. But I do think Valentina is kind of done as well. I think it's kind of the same as Israel. She very well win their third fight. But I do think we have seen the best of Valentina. I don't know if we're going to see any better version. And her fights are getting closer now, guys. We got to remember that. I thought she possibly lost. I don't even remember 100%. I got to rewatch that fight. But I think I remember saying that I think she lost that fight versus Talia. And if she didn't lose, she had an argument of losing. Then obviously she did lose her next fight. And then she lost this fight. It ain't by coincidence, y'all. They have figured her out at 125, and 125 is getting tougher and tougher and tougher. There's more dogs coming at flyweight. It's time. And when I'm saying it's time that her dominant reign is over. She's not dominant no more. I don't think she will be dominant ever again. She could still be champion. She could still win some fights, but she's not going to be the dominant champ she was 4 years ago. That's over. And that's good. We need that. 115, realistically, 115 is the only exciting women's division in the UFC. That's the only division where I see fights, I'm like, let's get it. 125 is now starting to come up and become that. 135 is finished. Who cares? But 125 is getting there. So I'm excited, man. I'm happy that these fights are delivering and we're getting more good fights that are coming. We got a big pay-per-view coming up as well. So I'm hyped. I'm ready. But like I said, man, make sure y'all follow me on social media. I will be posting more content that's not just my predictions and breakdowns. I still have a winning record. Let's get it as well. So once again, if you guys want me to critique or you want me to judge any fights that are controversial, it could be UFC, MMA, it don't matter. Let me know. I will post that on the same channel. And, you know, I'll tell you my opinion on how I scored it. And then we can go from there. Let's talk about it as a family, y'all. We family out here. But as always, man, make sure y'all stay blessed. Have a good weekend.